Good, happy Saturday afternoon, April 25, 2020. I'm Riley King, and welcome to this afternoon edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this afternoon, so let's begin. First up, COVID-19 in New Hampshire, what you need to know information. Let's take a look. And here's a look at that COVID-19 in New Hampshire information. There are 1,720 number of people in New Hampshire who have tested positive for COVID-19. 889,661 number of people in the United States who have tested positive. 53 number of deaths from COVID-19 in New Hampshire. 224 number of people who have been hospitalized with COVID-19 in New Hampshire. And 50,890 deaths from COVID-19 in the United States. This map of New Hampshire shows you where cases of COVID-19 are in towns and cities of New Hampshire. There are 365 cases of COVID-19 in Manchester, New Hampshire. In this chart right here, new cases each day in New Hampshire in the purple, daily new positive COVID-19 cases in the orange, new hospitalizations, and in the red are the deaths. Current cases. In the purple, total COVID-19 current cases. In the orange, new current hospitalizations. In cumulative totals. In the purple, total positive COVID-19 cases. In the orange, total hospitalizations. In the red, deaths. And in the blue, recovered. This chart here shows age groups by COVID-19. Sex by COVID-19, female and male, and risk information. This chart, race/ethnicity of cases in percent of New Hampshire population. And your common symptoms: fever, lack of smell, cough, and difficult breathing, how it spreads, and prevention tips. Be sure to stay with the Riley King Network for the latest of your COVID-19 information. Retailers say they want to reopen as soon as possible with phased approach. Industry officials say businesses can keep workers, customers safe. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9. Okay, we're having a little technical difficulties with the video player. Sorry about that, everyone. We are having some technical difficulties with the video player. Sorry about that. Here we go.
In America, we all count, and the 2020 census is how that promise is kept. It informs where billions in funding will be spent on programs that touch us all. Shape your future. Start here. Complete the census at 2020census.gov.
State's non-essential businesses are anxious to see customers again. The New Hampshire Retail Association says 90% of those staff members have been laid off or furloughed.
These people now make more on unemployment with the $600 from the federal government than they made with working.
During Friday's reopening task force meeting, the organization suggested opening as soon as possible by appointment.
Essential businesses are open. They're keeping customers safe. There's no reason but why non-essential businesses can't do the same thing with the same protocols.
Nancy Kyle proposes 3 steps to get back to normal. Phase 1 already well underway, allowing curbside pickup and delivery. Phase 2, opening while social distancing, limiting customers and workers, and frequent cleanings. Phase 3, lifting all restrictions. The group advocates for a statewide approach and cautions against opening specific regions.
You're going to drive to the North Country to buy it, and the local retailer is going to be at a disadvantage.
On the manufacturing side, most of them are actually still open. That industry shared concerns about workplace health guidelines, liability, and access to PPE and testing.
Most manufacturing employees are working. Those that aren't, I'm sure, are anxious to get back to work and return to normal. Obviously, we all want the economy to rebound.
The next task force meeting will be on Monday and will focus on several different industries, including arts, healthcare, and recreation. And if you'd like to submit your comments in written form, you can do so by emailing nhreopen@nheconomy.com.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Boston research says antibody tests still lack a key piece of information. Let's take a listen to that video from WCVB Boston.
You must be Steven's phone.
Know who's on your network and control who shouldn't be with Xfinity XFi. Simple, easy, awesome.
Every individual mounts a unique immune response.
Dr. David Walt is on the front lines of research that could get us back to our lives. He's co-leader of the Mass General Brigham Center for COVID Innovation, gathering the brightest minds in Boston to tackle the issues raised by the pandemic. One of those issues, antibody testing, looking for how a person's immune system responds to coronavirus. Walt says the tests available now do not tell us enough.
They don't tell us yet whether individuals are protected against both being reinfected or being able to transmit the infection, the virus, to other people.
Walt says the amount of antibodies created depends on several factors, including how someone was exposed, how strong the immune system was before infection, and how it uniquely responds to the virus. But he cautions.
The strength of the immune response does not necessarily correlate with any sort of protection.
The most promising clue could be in blood plasma from people with a strong immune response. Studying their blood could tell us which antibodies can eliminate the virus and which are simply a response to it. In his lab, Dr. Walt and his team are trying to develop a test with that sensitivity to be able to tell the difference.
Once that happens, we'll be able to develop much more predictive antibody tests that will enable us to know whether it's safe for somebody to go back to work or not.
So Dr. Walt told me this is now a marathon. It's not a sprint, but the progress the scientific community has made since the first case in China back in December is really unprecedented. And he thinks it will take anywhere from a few weeks to a few months to fine-tune that antibody test that his lab is now working on.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Man, teen arrested after woman shot inside Lewiston apartment, police say. 2 were arrested in connection to the Friday night shooting. Lewiston police said a man and a teen are in custody after shots were fired into an apartment on College Street, injuring a woman inside. Officers responded to the scene at 10 p.m. Friday. Police said a 22-year-old man and a 15-year-old juvenile were arrested. Both are facing charges of elevated aggravated assault and theft of a firearm. The man is currently being held at Androscoggin County. The juvenile was taken to Long Creek Youth Department Center, police said. The identity of the juvenile is not being released. The victim's identity has not been released. She was treated and released from Central Maine Medical Center in Lewiston. The Lewiston Police Department is still investigating. Anyone with additional information is asked to call 207-784-6421. Driver in crash may have passed out from wearing N95 mask too long, police say. Police said the driver is believed to have worn an N95 mask for too long. The driver of a single car crash in Lincoln Park, New Jersey is believed to have passed out behind the wheel after wearing a N95 mask for a too long time, police said. Lincoln Park Police Department responded to the accident on Thursday where a vehicle careened front bumper first into a wooden pole after the officers cleared the scene where the driver was the only occupant of the vehicle. They posted photographs of the crash on their Facebook page with the caption that created an overwhelming response. And that does it for this afternoon edition of the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. Have a great rest of your afternoon, and goodbye.